You probably have already seen or heard of these speakers from GravaStar. If not, just know that they would be one of the first ones that comes to my mind if someone were to ask me to recommend a cool looking speaker. And given its outlandish and futuristic design, it should easily fit into many gaming setups. But the thing is, do they actually perform well enough for gaming, say for the average gamer like me? Or is this something that just looks cool and is only good for display? To answer that question, I have used a pair of the Mars Pro Bluetooth speakers that GravaStar sent over for all my audio needs over the past 2 months. That includes playing games, listening to music, joining online meetings, and watching movies. And yes, that includes watching. So hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel to stay updated, and let's find out if it is worth spending $340 for a pair of these robot speakers, or are you better off getting other audio solutions for your gaming setup. Bam! Quickly going over what's inside the box for the standard edition. You'll find the robot speaker itself, a USB A to C cable for charging, a 3.5mm to USB-C auxiliary cable for using in wired mode, and a user manual. The speaker itself gives off a really sturdy and well-built impression the moment I picked it up. The outer shell and legs are made of zinc alloy with only a few parts that are plastic, making this 3-legged robot weigh in at about 1,300 grams. The overall craftsmanship of the Mars Pro is quite premium with clean finishes all around the edges and corners, and is seriously a well-made speaker. Near the back are 3 physical buttons for pairing, controlling the RGB lights, and the power button. Turning it on, it will always play this sound, which reminds me of a siege tank from StarCraft deploying. And unfortunately, ready to pair. And unfortunately, you can't turn off this sound. I wonder why many hi-fi companies like to design their speakers to play a sound when powering on and off, and not give us consumers the option to turn it off. If anyone watching knows why, please share with us in the comments below. Anyways, to adjust the volume, you can use the capacitive strip on the top like this, and has a total of 7 steps. But I find that sometimes the strip is not quite as responsive, so I mostly control the volume via the audio source. At 20 watts max output, the Mars Pro should be loud enough for most indoor use cases. For outdoor use, I find it to be not loud enough sometimes, especially for larger open spaces. But as this product doesn't have any IPX rating, I would recommend using it indoors only. Now, when it comes to using the Mars Pro as part of your gaming setup, then I highly recommend picking up a second unit. Having 2 of these significantly widens the soundstage and improves gaming immersion. But take note that you can only pair the same model series with each other for true wireless stereo. So in other words, a Mars Pro will not work with a Venus or Supernova. And of course, there's also the problem of, yep, you guessed it, audio latency. When using only one speaker with PC, the audio delay was roughly around 0.25 milliseconds, which was not too easily noticeable for me. But when it came to using both in true wireless stereo mode, the delay increases to around half a second, which depending on what platform I'm connected to, becomes higher and very noticeable sometimes. For instance, when I'm using it with my OLED switch, the delay becomes very obvious and noticeable. With PC and ROG Ally, it is also slightly noticeable, but not as bad. It's usable, but I wouldn't recommend it for ranked competitive play though. And for mobile phones, it wasn't that noticeable, but that's probably due to the type of games that I play on mobile. So, one way to overcome this audio delay issue is to use the Mars Pro in wired mode. But because the speakers will not connect wirelessly with each other when plugged in, what I did was to use this cable that splits the left and right audio channels and then connect it to the 3.5mm to USB-C auxiliary cable. Though, when using it in wired mode, there is the inconvenience where you will not be able to use and charge it at the same time. But so far, I find that the 8000 mAh battery is enough for my daily needs and lasting up to around 12 hours at 80% volume and RGB lights on before it's flashing low battery. But overall, gaming with the Mars Pro was a blast for me. With the way that they are factory tuned, I find that they can reproduce spatial audio slightly better than my Harman Kardon speakers and the Katana V2 soundbar. In open world and action games, environmental details and dialogues was also very clear even though there are other things happening on the screen at the same time. but I did find that the bass can be a bit lacking sometimes, as a passive bass radiator is a bit on the smaller side. So personally, I think that if you plan to use the Mars Pro mainly for non-competitive PC gaming or mobile gaming, then you could go with these very well built and good looking wireless speakers. And being wireless, you could also bring them around with you for other uses should the occasion requires. But then, considering that you will need to spend $340 for a pair of Mars Pro, and there's also the audio delay from Bluetooth technology, other audio solutions available in the market today may look more attractive. But I'll leave that decision to you. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and thank you as always for watching. If you find today's video helpful, hit that like button and share it with a friend, as it will greatly help me and this channel, and I'll see you again in the next video. Ciao! You can use the capacitive strip on the top like this. It's not working.